Buongiorno, pirates. We're jumping right into 2.4, which is solving multi-step equation inequalities. It's just like solving with addition and subtraction or multiplication and division, but now it's all of those. So you got to do addition, subtraction, and multiplication and division. But other than that, it's the same as what we've done. Just like when you multiply or divide by a negative, and that's your only step, anytime you multiply or divide by a negative, here you have to switch the inequality sign. Adding and subtracting, you never switch the sign around. Just multiplying or dividing by positive numbers, you do not switch the sign around. So let's jump right into it. So for this first one right here, what's a good first step to solve that inequality? Yes, you should subtract 7 on each side first. There you go. So you get y over negative 6 is less than 2. And then how would you finish that inequality to solve it? Yeah, multiply each side by negative 6. When you multiply by a negative, remember, the sign switches around because that's what you got to do when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Turn that old sign around, and you end up getting y is greater than negative 12. Does it talk about graphing? Probably. There it is. Are we going to use an open circle or closed circle? Yes, open circle, because it cannot equal negative 12. It can only be greater than negative 12. And we'll shade to the right because it's any number bigger than negative 12. Okay, let's jump on to B here. So here we got 2v minus 4 is greater than or equal to 8. What is a good first step to solve this? Yes, you're going to want to add 4 to each side. So now you get 2v is greater than or equal to 12. And then what do? Yeah, we divide by 2. And you're dividing by positive 2. You don't turn the sign around. Only when you do multiply or divide by negative. So the sign stays the same, and you get v is greater than or equal to 6. When you graph it, open or close circle? Yeah, close circle, because it can include 6. And then will the arrow go right or left? Yes, the arrow will go right because it's any number that's bigger than or equal to 6. So it's all of these ones. Okay, so moving on to this one. Here we got a couple of things. We got x's on both sides. What? So let's say that you don't like to deal with negative numbers. What's a good first step? Yeah, add 5 to each side, and that way you don't have any negatives to deal with. Look at that. Okay, but now we got x's on both sides and 16 over here. What is a good next step? Yeah, you want to subtract 2x on each side. And then you got the x's on the left, you got the numbers on the right. So far we've only added, subtracted, you don't change the sign. Our next step is to do what? Yeah, divide by 4. And again, we're dividing by positive 4, so don't turn the sign around when you divide by a positive number. So you get x is less than 4. And then again, I'm not going to make you answer the question about open or closed circle. It's an open circle, and the arrow goes left. All right, next one. Here it says to solve this and this. We're going to get to compound inequalities soon. Sometimes when you see and it's not two separate problems, it means that both have to be true. Right now, though, we're going to solve these as two different equations. So let's see if it sets it up separately for us. It sure does. So for this first one, what is a good first step to do? Yeah, first you want to distribute that 4 here. So it becomes 8b plus 12. Don't forget to multiply the 4 times each thing in the parentheses. And then some of you might notice something right away here. If not, we'll continue. Okay, if you subtract 8b from each side, you end up getting negative 3 is greater than 12. Now, if this were an equal sign, automatically you would jump to no solution. Okay, for an inequality sign, you have to decide if this is true or not. So if this statement is true, it means you have infinite solutions. If this statement is not true, which it's not, it means there is no solution. Okay, so negative 3 is not greater than 12. Therefore, there is no solution to this inequality right here. No number you could plug in for b is going to make this true. Okay, let that sink in. You might want to pause, take some notes on this part. All right, now let's jump to the second one. So we got this. What should you do first? Yes, you should distribute that 2 first. That gives you 10w minus 2. Okay, so now solve this puppy. What do you notice? Okay, so now when you solve this thing, you get negative 2 is less than or equal to 7. Okay, is that true or not true? That is true. It's always true. Therefore, this one has infinite solutions. All numbers that you plug in for W will be true. Okay, so in this case, if the statement ends up, like the variable goes away and the statement's true, it means, boom, infinite solutions. Any number works. All right, and then I think we got a story problem. Look at that, we do. Okay, you need a mean score of at least 90 points to advance to the next round of a touchscreen trivia game. What scores in the 5th game allow you to advance? So right now you got 95, 91, 77, and 89. What is the minimum? Actually, let's do it this way. What's in inequality you can write for this problem? All right, let's see here. So if you understood the problem and made a plan, hopefully you came up with this type of inequality. Okay, or maybe not quite as complex. There's different ways to write it too. But anyway, so the 4 scores you got plus the one that we don't know yet divided by 5 has to equal 90. What's a good step to solve this one that they put on the screen? Yeah, multiply each side by 5. Okay, actually add those together first. And then you're going to multiply each side by 5. So you get 352, which is the total of the 4, plus the score that you don't have yet has to equal 4 or be greater than or equal to 450. So when you solve it, you will get 98 is the minimum score. So if you get 98, 99, or 100, there you go. You have reached your 90 points that you need on average. Okay. Oh, look, and you can check out the diagram. That's nice. Okay, and that's it. That's all we got. So this diagram thing is a nice visual, not necessarily required. So if you understood this stuff right here, that's the main thing. Okay, if you have any questions or need any help, just let me know. It's the same as what we've done before. It's just a combo of adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. The only time you change the sign around is if you multiply or divide by a negative. Good luck, and I will see you in class. Arr!